All right, welcome everybody. I am here getting some echo for some reason. I don't know if you guys hear that on your end, but hopefully not. Either way, we're getting warmed up, getting ready to go here. Not sure why that's echoing. You want to let me know if my sound is right, Tim? Either way, getting things warmed up. We'll try to adjust the volumes here a little bit. Maybe that'll change the effect. Yeah, not sure. Okay, there we go. Sounds a little better now. Either way, we're getting ready to take on Sartell. They lost their first game here in the Grand Forks Top Gun Challenge to the Winnipeg U15 AAA team that we will see this afternoon. They lost that one, I believe. It was somewhere around about 8-1, maybe 8-2, somewhere in there. Winnipeg outshot them quite badly. I think it was like 60-12 or something like that. So either Winnipeg's a very, very good team, or the Sartell team is not quite as good compared to Winnipeg. So got about 2.5 minutes to go here. We'll get warm-ups taken care of. Pucks picked up. Obviously, Aviators looking to rebound after that loss yesterday, 3-2 to Williston. Played a solid game overall, looking a little better than they have in recent games, but struggling once again with penalties in the third period, so that will be our keys to the game. Once again today is stay out of the penalty box. Do not give Sartell any extra time with the man advantage out there when you don't need to. Obviously, a couple of the penalties yesterday were unavoidable, especially the one on Mike Charlie Miedema that stopped a chance in all alone on his goaltender. Aviators, I believe, were able to kill that one off anyway, so in a roundabout way, that's what we call a good penalty, but some of the ones later in the period were avoidable. Ended up not necessarily being bad penalties in the way that they're getting scored on again, but definitely killed the Aviators' chances of coming back as they played shorthanded for the last 3 to 4 minutes of that game. Had just a small amount of time at the very end, even strength to try to tie that one up, and we're unable to do it. So we move on today, take on Sartell, look to get in the winners column here this morning. And then we'll be back again at 4:45, I believe, this afternoon to take on that Winnipeg team. I'm not sure who we're seeing in net here today. I think we actually might be going Dom again. I know Blake wants to take on the Winnipeg team as he has a buddy on the team. So we'll get him in net this afternoon. Then we'll probably see him again tomorrow. And what is more than likely going to be the one game for tomorrow. You never know if the Aviators can pull off 2 wins and somehow get in the lead of the goal differential in case they tie. They would have a chance to make it into that semifinal. But basically in a tournament like this with 16 teams and 4 pools of 4 teams, you pretty much have to be that, or you do have to be that number 1 seed in order to move on. So that means you have to go, pretty much have to go 3-0. Otherwise, if you go 2-1 and someone else goes 2-1, you got to win the goal differential. So either way, we'll see how that shakes out. Just got to play one game at a time and see how it shakes down. Well, horn went off. Pucks will get picked up. Players will head to the bench, gather around their goaltender in the corner, and we'll get this game underway. Looks like we got some different refs from yesterday. It's actually the same refs that just ref the game before us, but the linesmen aren't now the refs, and the refs are now the linesmen. They were kind of letting things go, so that could bode well for the Aviators in the penalty department if they can avoid getting in the box too much. If the refs call the game the same way they did the previous game, letting the boys play and figure things out on the ice for themselves. But we'll see how it shakes out here very shortly as Looks like Dom is in the corner. Team is gathering around, and Blake has handed off his stick, so we'll see Dom in net for this morning's game, and then we'll see Blake probably the next 2 games, I would assume. Oh, Aviators looking pumped up in the corner there, ready to go for this game. They'll need to come out. They'll want to strike early, strike quick. Get on top of the Sartell team, get them on their heels just a little bit in the early going, but we'll see how it shakes out here just momentarily as the starting 5 should head to the center face-off dot here in just a second. Zoom in a little bit here. Looks like we'll get some lineup changes here today. Mason Fargo moving to another line. It'll be Blasky, Fiala, and Shower. Daxon and Charlie Miedema on defense. This one sent over to Shower. Dumped back down into the Sartell end. They'll get after it behind their own net. Nice little stick check there by Fiala. As we said, that probably would have been a slashing call in the game yesterday, but they let him play on. Sartell has control in the near side corner. Blasky gets reverse check there and goes down, but gets right back up. Fiala on the far side board, puts a check on. Shower comes back to pick it up. Feeds it over to Miedema, sliding down, shots it on. Goaltender makes the save. Sartell chips this one out. They'll just dump it down for icing. Don't think that'll want to make it as Daxon chases it down, gets to it right as the line with the player on him right away. Uses his body, fights off the check though, and gets it out into the neutral zone. Yana out there now with Kulak playing forward and Seffi at center. Sartell's able to bring it in, but not very deep as Seffi steals that one away and skates it out. Feeds up to Kulak. Kulak dumps it in. Defenseman knocks it down, chases after in the corner, but Seffi gets on it right away, steals it back. Tried to feed it to Yana, but that was blocked by a stick. Sartell gets control. They dump it out. This one goes just past Benson as he backhands one over to Easton Green. Easton takes a look, skates it forward, chips it up, down into the Sartell end, but they push it right back out at center ice, but picked up by Benson. He brings it back in, trying to get through 4 different Sartell players, but lost the handle on that one as players were going for a change. Out comes Luke Nicholson and Owen Berg. They'll be joined by Wyatt By. Sartell skates out from behind their net, up the far side. Wyatt putting on the pressure, slowing him down, but Sartell with control still dumps this one down in. Easton Green picks it up in the corner. Overskated that one, puck comes loose, shots it on, Dom makes the save. Comes loose over to Wyatt. Wyatt skates this one up the far side and out into neutral zone. He'll bring this one down in the Sartell end, cuts it to the middle, gets around a couple of players. Tried to hand it off to Berg. Berg sends one out front, but that goes through everybody, comes over to Benson. Benson spins away from one check. Skates it down, lost the handle on it. Nick comes over to try to steal it away, but Sartell's able to get it out. Here's a 2-on-1. Benson trying to get back to help out. Shot sent on, kicked away there by Dom. Far side, Benson trying to steal it away. Comes loose to Wyatt. Wyatt with control in his own zone. Feeds it over to Nick Henderson. Henderson, captain, skating this one forward. The blue line now at center ice. Over the red line, brings in the zone. He's all alone. His players go for a change. Sends a shot. Sent on, picks it up. His own rebound behind the net, but overskated that one. Sartell gets control. They'll work it to the near side, sent through the middle. Dump down in, Daxon will chase after it. Right in front of his brother, sends it up, gets it up to Fiala. Out to the blue line, but not out. Blasky gets it now. Now back to Fiala. Now Shower. Shower over to Henderson, near side. Bouncing puck comes into the zone. Trying to slip around the defense. Lost it at the last second there. Shower trying to keep it down low. Comes up to the blue line, but not out. Comes loose down to Blasky. Blasky out to Fiala. Had him wide open out front, but couldn't get it past the skate of the Sartell defenseman. Shower picks it up in the corner. Now to Blasky, skates it in. Tries to wrap around. Sends it through the blue paint. Almost to Shower, but it went off a skate, but looks like the net came off. So we get a quick whistle and a face-off coming in the Sartell end. Well, the Aviators jumping out right away here. Putting the pressure on. Shots are tied up 2-2, but majority of the play either at center ice or down here in the Sartell end so far. We're about almost 4 minutes into this game. Sartell with control. They'll dump this one on the neutral zone, picked up by Miedema. Miedema feeds it up to Schauer. Schauer puts on the brakes, dumps it down into the zone. Brings it around to the near side. Sartell gets on it first. Sent over to the far side. This one will come out to Miedema at the blue line. He'll push it down the wall to Fiala. Fiala in the high slot. Shot set on. Bouncing puck. Goaltender kicks it into the corner. Blasky gets after it. Ties up his man in the corner. Fiala chips it behind the net. He'll grab it in the far corner as Kulak comes off the bench. That's right down the middle, but Fiala getting hooked up there a little bit. And Sartell will get control, and they'll bring it out of the zone. As you can see, a couple little ticky-tack hooks there. Probably would have been called yesterday, but not today. So the boys will be able to play a little bit here as Kulak brings it down the left side. Players going for a change. He's got Miedema joining him. Finds Miedema. Miedema takes a shot, but it gets blocked. Bouncing puck comes up to the blue line. Benson picks it up, brings it into the down low. Behind the net, looks for an opportunity, sends it off the side of the net. Goaltender trying to grab it and put a glove on it, but his defenseman takes it away. Here's Yana, tried to feed it out to Seffi, but she had headed the other way, and back comes Sartell into the Aviators zone. Benson stepping up. Sartell shots it on right in the glove of Dom. He'll hold on, and we're going to face off. 10 minutes, 12 seconds to go here. Still 0-0. Shots tied up 3-3. Yana take the face-off, centering, looks like Kulak and Seffi. Benson and Henderson on defense. Sartell wins it back to the point. Shot sent on through traffic. Dom saw that the whole way. Got a glove on it, holds on. And we're going to face off again in the near side of the Aviators' end. Seffi to take the face-off this time, tied up. Yana skates up, picks it up, brings it out of the zone, feeds over to the far side, gets to Kulak. He'll elect to just dump this one in. It goes down below the goal line. Yana puts the pressure on. Sartell gets there first. Seffi with a hit along the boards, comes loose to Kulak. Kulak chips it down. He'll chase after behind the net. Stuff attempt goes off the goaltender out to Benson. Slap shot. Whiffed on that one a little bit. Did go in on net. Able to deflect that one into the corner. Here it comes out to the blue line. Henderson shot sent on through traffic. Goalie didn't quite see that one. Looks like it hit Seffi. She winced a little bit, and she's headed off here. Hopefully she's all right. Not sure, but she just took that one maybe in the shoulder or arm or either way. She looked like she felt that one. Sits down on the bench. Looks like she's fine, though. Gets right back up and gets in line. Play continues in the zone here. Sent over to the near side. Picked up by Berg. Berg feeds it over to Nicholson. Nicholson tries to go short side. Net came off, and goaltender covered it up anyways. So we get a whistle, and we're going to face off here in the Sartell end. So Berg, By, and Nicholson out there as the forwards. Miedema and Dax and Norby just come out for the defensive core here for the Aviators. Refs trying to freeze those posts in. As that net's come off a couple times, packing snow around the mooring. Otherwise known as the peg. Need to get some water on there too to freeze it in. Looks like they're using the goaltender's water bottle to freeze that in a little bit. Hopefully that'll keep the net from coming off too much more. And you get a lot of hockey games like this on one sheet of ice, that'll happen, and then it's hard to get it back. So you give it a little bit of break and let it freeze properly. Sartell brings that one in, but obviously offsides as the one player lost the puck and then skated in before it. So can't do that. We get a whistle and a face-off coming here in front of the Aviators bench. Be Nicholson to take the face-off between Berg and By. Norby and Miedema on defense. Still, this one pushed up, comes to Nicholson. He'll bring this one in down the left side, working on the defense, gets it down into the corner. Backhands one out to Berg, goes off of Berg's skate, goes off the goaltender. By was trying to find it to get a rebound. There's Miedema sending a shot on, but Sartell will just dump this one down the ice. Wyatt By will chase after it. He picks it up, sends it over to Daxon. Daxon takes a look, sends it to the middle, gets it to Berg. Berg feeds it up, trying to get it up to Nicholson, a little bit out of reach. Nicholson gets it back to Berg. Berg in the corner. Takes a hit, spins away from it, feeds it out to the point. Daxon works it in, shots it on through traffic. Goaltender kicks that one away. Picked up by, that was Miedema who sent a shot on, tipped on there by Nicholson, but the goaltender was able to glove on it. We'll get a whistle. And a face-off coming to Sartell end. So Aviators leading in the shot department here 6-4, but still tied up 0-0 with 8:21 to play in the first period. Fiala's line comes out. He's now centering Blasky and Shower. Benson and Easton on defense. Shower feeds it back to Green. Green shots it on. Goaltender saw that one. Reaches the glove out, holds on. We're going to whistle. Now that I'm thinking about it, haven't seen Mason Fargo out there yet. I wonder, he's on the bench. I guess I'm not in the loop on suspensions. Obviously, he didn't get kicked out of the game, so he's not suspended for the game. I'm wondering if he just got a one-period suspension, maybe for that penalty late in the third period, or he received a 2 and a 10-minute misconduct. Either way, with him being on the bench, that would mean he's probably going to come out for the second period. Shots in on there by Fiala, glove down by the Sartell goalie. And we'll get a face-off here in the Sartell end. That would make sense for the line changes a little bit. We'll see if they keep them changed up or if it's just for the reason of Fargo missing this first period. Probably like to see Kulak go back to defense so they can keep the pairs even. Have 6 defensemen as it's tied up along the boards here. Puck dug loose by Kulak. Kulak in the corner trying to slip away from a check. He gets tied up again now. Puck along the boards comes out to Yana. Yana tries to feed it over to Henderson. Almost picked off by Sartell there. Backhanded up by Henderson. Dumped down low by Seffi. Good to see she's back out there. Sent behind the net. Kulak almost stealing it away, but it comes over to the near side, or excuse me, the far side. Bouncing puck through the center ice here all the way down. They say somebody touched it, so no ice. Picked up by Daxon. Behind his net, he'll skate this one forward. Chips it up, gets it to Kulak. Kulak hands it back to Daxon. Daxon works it to the outside. Running low, tried to feed it out to Yana. Went off a skate, comes out of the zone, and will come loose to Easton Green. He'll dump that one in, but a couple players still in the zone, so we're going to face off here right in front of the Sartell end. But good passing there by the Aviators. Daxon sent it up to Kulak. Kulak back to Daxon. Daxon getting it down low, waiting for someone to get up front. But a lucky bounce for Sartell off a skate, comes out of the zone, which led to the offsides. And I guess we'll move this one all the way down into the Aviators' end, as they called that one an intentional offsides. Sent out to the point, shots it on. Through some traffic there. Dom had to make a second save. Tried to make a third, but Sartell finds the back of the net, and they strike first, taking the 1-0 lead here with 6:23 to play in this first period. A quick face-off draw there off the icing call. Out to the point, shot sent on. Dom made 2 saves. Couldn't make the third one. And Sartell strikes first, but here's Henderson right off the draw. Ahead of steam, down into the corner, lost the handle on that one. Sartell gathers it up, sent over along the wall. Shower chases it down, lets it go, gets it up to Fiala. Fiala spins, dumps it down into the near side corner, comes over to Blasky. Blasky in the corner, feeds it out to Fiala. Fiala over to Henderson. Henderson shots it on, gets partially blocked, comes off the glass hard. Puck was loose. Get a quick whistle. Ref couldn't see it, but net was off again. That was probably the reason for the whistle. And we're going to face off here in the Sartell end. 5:54 first period, 1-0 lead for Sartell. Shots tied up 7-7. Wouldn't say a lot of those 7 shots for Sartell were grade A. Obviously, the ones they scored on was a third attempt down low. But the rest of them, all shots from out. Dom was able to see them clearly. Face off one back. Henderson trying to shoot that one through traffic. Goes off a leg, comes all the way down. Benson will have to retreat and pick this one up. Sends it up the wall to Shower, who caught an edge. Sartell retakes control of the puck. They'll send it through everybody to the far side. Benson steals it away, though. Sends one off the wall. Sartell sends it back down low. Along the wall, in the corner. Fiala trying to steal it away. Now Henderson. They feed it out to the point. Shot sent on. Dom makes the save on that one. Picked up by Henderson. Sends it off the wall out into the neutral zone. Sartell gets it again. Goes D to D, and they'll skate this one in. Up to the blue end, but nice defensive play there by Kulak, putting the pressure on him. Stole it away and went behind the defense. Here's Benson. Steps up, takes that one away. Works it down the right side. Had it knocked off of his stick. Kulak trying to gather it up. Had it knocked away from him as well. Comes out center ice where it's on Miedema's stick. Over to Benson. Back to Miedema, but a little bit off the mark. Ends up going off sides. And we're going to face off on the far side, just outside the Sartell end here. 4:53 to go. Sartell with the 1-0 lead. Aviators sending out Seffi, Yana, and Kulak. Miedema and Norby on defense. Tied up along the boards, bouncing around here. Dug out by Seffi. Feeds it over to Charlie. Charlie feeds it up to Yana. Yana dumps it into the zone. Takes a hit along the boards. Seffi chases it down. Pass dumped across the ice. Jackson tried to step up on it. Missed that one. Charlie covers for him. Takes the puck away. He'll skate this one forward, but had it knocked off of his stick. Seffi will recover in the corner. She'll turn, comes right out in front of her own fun goaltender, and she'll skate it forward. Down the right side, brings it into the zone, gets checked along the boards. Sent up the near side wall. Sartell will keep it down low. Yano tries to steal this one away. The bouncing puck comes out. Big hit there at center ice by Daxon. Causes the puck to come loose over to Charlie. Charlie up to Yana. Yana brings it into the zone. Puts on the brakes. Looks for a little bit of help. Still has it, though. Sends it off the wall. Gets to Charlie. Charlie trying to get control along the wall. Nicholson does come out into neutral ice here. Picked up by Daxon. He'll skate this one forward. Lost an edge there. Picked up by Kulak. Kulak loops back towards his own zone. Goalie off the ice. We got an arm-up penalty coming here. Must be a trip on when Daxon went down. Goaltender never got control there, so no whistle. Berg trying to get it before the Sartell player. You can't just touch it. You got to have control. Out to Miedema. Miedema down low to By. By shots it on. Beats the goaltender on the delayed call. Back of the net. What a shot. 4 wide By. Beating the goalie short side and in the back of the net. Tying this game up at 1. The refs talking this one over. Thought they were maybe going to turn it back, as they say the goaltender touched it. But like I said, you cannot just touch it. You have to have control of it. This one brought in by Berg. Lost the handle on that one. Sartell will get it back. They'll feed it over to the near side. Through center ice, into the zone. Brown, Green. Green will chase after it down below the goal line. Nicholson came in for a little bit of help. Short side, Dom lost it there. Didn't even know where the puck was. Made the save and somehow gets it covered up. And we're going to whistle. Exactly 3 minutes to go here. First period, 1-1 hockey game on the power, or on a even strength goal there by White By. It was going to go on the power play, but extra man out there on the ice as the delayed penalty was being called. The Aviators were able to get on the board. So Wyatt with a couple big goals in the last 2 games. Beautiful one yesterday, and now another one today. Good passing. Controlled by the Aviators, finding the open man. Wyatt bringing it in, somehow sneaking it in the short side. A little back and forth at center ice here. It's on the stick of Benson. Benson feeds it to the far side, a little out of the reach of Wyatt there. Sartell with control. In their own zone, they go D to D. Sent through the middle, out into the neutral zone. Nicholson will bounce that one off the wall. Sartell will get control. They'll bring it back in the zone. D to D again, now through the middle. That one dumped in. Dom will kick it into the corner. Benson will chase after it. Sartell going for a change. Benson sends that one up to Shower. Finds Blasky coming off the bench. Hands it off to Henderson. Henderson through the middle with a head of steam. Works at the outside, gets on his forehand, beats the goaltender over the glove, got him moving left to right. Use the defenseman as a screen and beat him just over the glove on the far side. And the Aviators take the 2-1 lead here with 2 minutes to play in this first period. Henderson fired up. Aviators ready to go here. Monster shot there by Henderson, working the zone right to the left, getting everybody off balance, shooting it backside with that wrister, just over the glove and into the back of the net. Aviators with their first lead of the game, sent out to the point. Sartell stops that one. Sent out, here's Henderson again, chasing this one down. Looks like it'll go for icing though. And we'll head back down to the Aviators' end for a face-off. All right, sorry about that. I had to step away. My 4-year-old gave me an Oreo. I figured you guys didn't want to listen to me chew on that for a couple seconds. So here's Fiala, dumps that one down. Rolling puck. Will not go for icing. Goaltender touch it, chips it up the wall. Comes to Shower. Shower works it down low, getting checked, bounces off the wall, comes out. Daxton's going to try to seal this off. Tied up along the wall here. Shower joins him. Daxton kicks that one to Shower, comes loose out to Blasky, caught up in his glove, finally comes loose. Sartell's able to push it out of the zone down into the Aviators' end, picked up by Miedema. Miedema sends it forward, gets it off of Fiala's stick down into the zone. Shower will chase after behind the net. Fiala down there as well. It'll be Blasky on the far side, try to bump one over to Shower. Shower knocked that one away, tried to feed it out the point, bouncing puck here. Sartell's able to get it out of the zone. Fiala trying to dig this one loose. It finally comes loose over to Easton Green. Easton trying to get it up to Shower. Shower lost an edge again. I think that's a couple times he's got caught up on the boards like that. Sartell feeds it to the far side. They'll dump it down into the zone. Kulak will chase after. About 30 seconds to go here in the first period. Miedema with it. Tries a backhand one up to Seffi. Lost the handle on it. Sartell will keep it in the zone. That one goes off of Charlie. He'll chip it out to the blue line again. Sartell will dump it back down in. Right back to Charlie. Sartell steals this one away. 20 seconds. Up and over the glove. Ties this one up 2-2 with just 18 seconds remaining in the period. A nasty little shot there just under the pipe and in the back of the net. And we have a tie game at 2 here with just 18 seconds to go, first period. Okay, Gnano come out, take the face-off, centering Kulak and Seffi. Gnano skate this one forward, lost the handle on it though. He gets knocked down. Comes back to Henderson. Henderson sends it over to his deep partner, Benson. Benson skates it forward, try to find it to Seffi, but picked off. Here's the goal scorer on the last one, brings it in, shots it on, Dom makes the save. Arm goes up, looks like we'll get a penalty here on Sartell at the end of the period. Looks like it was on the goal scorer, number 66. Hit Henderson. I'm not sure what the call was. Probably just be a roughing, maybe a tripping. Either way, I saw Dom stick his arm up. But we got a game here, folks. Tied up 2-2. After one period, we're going to get a Zamboni break, so I'm going to step away and use the facilities. And then I will be back. This should be a fun one for the next 2 periods. We still got 2 to play. Hopefully you can stick with us. We'll be back in about 10 to 15. All right, here we go. Back for the second period, 2-2 hockey game as we get ready and warmed up here for period 2. Back and forth hockey, as you probably can see there on the scoreboard. Sartell leading in the shot department, 11-9, but they also will be on the penalty kill to start this second period. So fresh ice, 2-minute power play for the Aviators. First penalty of the game. There was going to be one on Sartell earlier, but Wyatt By was able to find the back of the net on the delayed call. That negated that penalty call. So this will be the first power play for either team. And it will be to start the second period. Referee calling the starting lineups to center ice. See who the Aviators elect to send out here for this power play to start the second period. See if they stick with a normal line or if they'll send out a power play heavy unit. Looks like it'll be the Fiala line. Jordy's going to stick with that line, looks like. I believe Mason Fargo is able to play now. He is standing up in the box with his teammates as if he's ready to go. So it'll be Fiala take the face off. Kulak back to defense, playing with Benson. Shower trying to give it to him. Shower gets over to Benson. Benson up to Blasky. Blasky brings it in, dumps it down below the goal line, and ring around to the near side over to Fiala. Fiala leaves it off for Kulak. Out to the point. Kulak down to Shower along the wall. Back out to Kulak. Kulak over to Benson. Benson takes a look. Tried to find a back door over to Shower, but Sartell's able to tip that one down into the Aviators' end where it's picked up by Kulak. Kulak feeds it up, sends it all the way down. That one over Shower's stick. So an icing call here, and we'll head back down to the Aviators' end for a face-off here on the power play. So Mason Fiala to take the face-off. Bouncing puck at the dot. Dug out there by Sartell. Shots in on. Dom makes the save, holds on. We'll reset and do it again. Minute 24 still to go on the power play. Aviators will send out a different line now. Looks like it'll be Seffi out there centering Mason Fargo and Caden Yana. Easton Green and Charlie Medium will come out on defense. Face off one back by Sartell. They are a man down. They'll dump this one down below the goal line. Comes over to the far side. Sartell gets on it first. Now Seffi has control. Excuse me. Goes behind her net, hands it off to Mason Fargo. Fargo slows things down, makes a guy miss, sends it out in the middle, but stolen away by Sartell. Mason trying to get control of it again. Looks like he will. Goes behind his own net. Feeds it through the middle, finds Yana. Yana knocked off of his stick. Miedema gathers it up. He'll skate this one forward. Backhands one through the middle over to Yana. He has it stolen away, and back comes Sartell. Behind the defense, in all alone on Dom. Gets it moving. Glove save there by Dom. Holds on. And we'll get a face-off. So Dom digging out his defense there. Referee's talking about it here. We'll get a face-off here in the defensive zone. Nicholson to take the face-off. Still 44 seconds to go on the power play. Face-off one back over to Daxon along the wall. He'll push this one forward and up the wall. Bounces it off the wall to himself. Skates it down the right side. Shots in on. Goaltender makes the save, and we'll get a face-off here in the Sartell end. It'll be Nicholson centering Owen Berg and Wyatt By. Daxon and Nick on defense. Nicholson to take the face-off. Face-off one back. Comes to Daxon. He'll walk it up. Shots it on. Goaltender makes another glove save. We'll reset and just do it all again. 29 seconds still to go on the power play. Face-off tied up at the dot. Pushed to the wall. Berg will peel off and grab it. He loops down below the goal line. Takes a look. Backhands one over to Nicholson. Nicholson feeds it out to Daxon. Daxon at the point. Sends it over to Henderson. Henderson far side. Sends it down low to Wyatt. Wyatt in the corner. Peels off a check. Goes behind the net. Sets up. Takes a look. Feeds it over to Berg. Berg Lost control of it, gets it back, feeds it to Bai. Bai works it out, shot sent on, goes off the side of the goaltender. Now send up the sidewall, the penalty's over, back to 5-on-5. Henderson has it down low, feeds it to the middle, trying to find Nicholson. That goes through everybody. Sartell will get control of it, and they'll dump this one down. Daxon Red, the player coming out of the box, so stayed back so they didn't get a breakaway off of that. Nicholson, backhands one out to the point. Daxon takes a shot. Goaltender makes a save, and we'll get a whistle. 12:39 to go here, second period, 2-2 hockey game. Fiala's line comes out for the Aviators. Blasky to his left. Kulak back up to forward on his right side. It'll be Green and Miedema on defense. Fiala behind the net. Takes a look. Feeds it through the middle, trying to find Miedema on the back door. Miedema gets a shot off goaltender, screened by Kulak, but fights off the save. Goaltender without a stick. Blasky trying to steal this away. He pushes it down low. Had his pocket picked there, and they'll send it out into the neutral zone. Sartell gets control, skates this one over to the far side into the Aviators' end, dumps it down low. Miedema goes behind his own net, bumps one up the wall. Sartell will get on this one first. Stolen away there by Miedema. Stolen right back by Sartell, but bouncing puck off of everybody's stick here. Finally picked up by Kulak, and he'll skate this one forward. Nice little move, gets around the defenseman, but lost the handle. This one sent around. Defensemen were getting a change. Charlie will have to chase after and pick this one up as he takes a look, sends one through the middle, gets up to Kulak. Kulak center ice, brings it over the blue line into the zone. Trying to make a move, gets caught up on that one. Blasky will chase it down in the corner. He takes a look, goes behind the net, stuff attempt, lost the handle on that one. Sartell gets control. Kulak comes over, Fiala came over to try to steal that one away. Now Kulak with it on the far side. Sartell is able to chip that one away. Out to the point. Benson will keep that one in. Chipped up again. Benson will slide down and try to keep it in, but Sartell tried to chip it up. Fiala was able to get his body against the wall and keep that one in the zone. And Sartell will finally get it out and all the way down the ice. This will be an icing call unless Henderson can chase it down, but he will not be able to, and we'll get an icing call. Face-off coming down in the Sartell end. 11 minutes to go here. Second period, 2-2 hockey game. Aviators now leading on the shot department here, 15-13. As Seffi will take the face-off out there between Yana and Fargo. Tied up at the dot. Sartell gets control. They'll send it behind their own net. Now they'll change directions and back the other way. Knocked away there by Fargo. Yana had it right behind him, but didn't quite see it. Sartell's able to dump this down. Henderson picks it up, goes behind his own net, puts on the brakes, slows things down, feeds it up to Benson. Benson through the middle, trying to find Fargo. Gets it onto his stick. Through the middle, goes off of Henderson and Yana. Sartell gets control again, but in their own zone. They'll send this one off the glass. That one goes up and over Seffi's head, back down into the Aviators' end, where Henderson will pick this one up. Henderson goes behind his own net, has a little bit of space. He'll skate this one forward, tried to feed it up to Fargo, but lost the handle on it. Fargo trying to keep that one out of the zone as Henderson was still in it, but was unable to. And we'll get a offsides call and a face-off right here in front of the Aviators bench. Nicholson line comes out for the Aviators, centering Owenberg and White by Miedema and Green on defense. Sartell gets control off the face-off, but Miedema steals it back. Backhands one over to Wyatt. Wyatt works it to the middle, had it stolen away from him. Berg was able to disrupt that a little bit, but Sartell's able to move it back out in the neutral zone, now down into the Aviators' end. Shot sent on into the glove of Dom. He holds on, and we'll get a face-off on the far side of the Aviators' end here with 10 minutes and 3 seconds to go, second period. Nicholson to take the face-off for the Aviators. Tied up at the center dot, comes loose. Out to the point, kept in by Sartell. They're able to work it down low. Now they feed it to the middle. That goes through everybody. Comes out to the point again. Shot sent on, gets blocked there by White. Comes bouncing out into neutral zone. Sartell regroup back down in their own end. Through the middle, almost stolen away there by Berg at the blue line, but Sartell has control to feed it through the middle. Off one of their wingers' sticks, and Charlie's able to feed it up to Wyatt. Wyatt back to Charlie. Charlie out to Berg. Almost beat the defenseman, but got caught up in the skates there a little bit. Nicholson trying to steal this one away along the boards, but it comes loose to Easton Green. He chips this one out to the blue line. Battle for it along the boards, knocked down by Sartell. They'll gather up, bring it in. Shot sent on. That whistle's just over the crossbar. Out to the point. Kept in by Sartell. Send that one in on Dom. He'll kick it into the corner. Sartell gets on it first. Set up to the point again. Sartell. Shot sent on through traffic. Gets tipped and goes up over the net. Far side. Berg on the boards. Trying to dig this one out. Nicholson in there as well. Easton Green comes in to join. Checks a guy from behind. Arm goes up. Penalty coming to Easton Green. Oh, we get the whistle. We'll get the call here. Looks like Easton Green will head to the box. And the Aviators will go down a man here. The cross-checking call, 2 minutes. Up on the board. First power play here for Sartell. Eight minutes, 58 seconds to go. Second period, 2-2 hockey game here between the Aviators and the Sabres of Sartell. It'll be Fiala and Blasky as the forwards. Henderson and Daxton as the defensemen. Sartell plays pitch and catch along the side wall down there. That one knocked away by Blasky out into the neutral zone. Brought right back in by Sartell, but offsides. And we'll get a face-off here right in front of the Sartell bench. Mason Fiala to take the face-off again. Face-off. Push forward there by Fiala, but Sartell gets control. They'll bring it in. Shots in on. Rebound left there by Dom, but it jumped over the stick of the Sartell player. Another shot sent on, goes wide. Sartell with control, sidewall. Works it up to the top. Now backhands it down low. Daxton will chase after this one. Lost the handle on that one, fed it up front. Henderson's able to chip it out to the blue line, but not out. Off of Fiala's stick there. Daxton once again misplayed that one a little bit. Off of Daxton's skates, he gets it up the wall, gives it to Fiala. Couldn't quite get it past the defenseman that pinched down. Now Daxton will dig this one loose. He gets bumped along the boards, but looks like he'll kick it forward to himself and gets it out in the neutral zone. Skates this one forward, getting absolutely knocked around here. Fiala, a one-man wrecking crew here, has control, brings it down low, trying to get it over to Blasky. Sartell steals it back, and back they come. Daxton and Benson, the lone men back. Down the far side, Sartell slows it down. They send it back out to the point. Out to the middle, high slot shot. Sent on, beats Dom under the glove and in the back of the net. And a power play goal for Sartell. They regain the lead here with 7.5 minutes to go in the second period. So what looked like a great penalty kill there by Mason Fiala turns into an odd man rush the other way. Didn't match up properly as they got back in the zone. Left a guy wide open in the slot, and he was able to beat Dom and regain the lead here. 3-2 with 7.5 minutes to go. Second period. Face off one back by the Aviators. Comes to Kulak. Kulak over to Benson. Benson through the middle. Gets up to Fargo, but off of Sartell's stick. They get control, and they'll chip it right back out in the neutral zone. Dump down in. That goes off a Sartell player, so no ice. Kulak gets it there first. Gets it to Benson. Benson over to Seffi. Seffi chips it out in the neutral zone. Sent back. Seffi knocks that one down, brings it into the Sartell end, but they'll say offsides, and we're going to face off just outside the Sartell end on the far side. Tied up at the dot. Fargo pushes it forward. Sartell goes D to D to the near side. Skate this one forward. Nice job by Seffi, forcing them to turn back. They feed it to the far side. Now into the zone, through the middle. Shot sent on. That one goes up and over the net. Lively puck comes bouncing out front. Net is off. Send forward here by Kulak. That's off, but we don't want the whistle right now as we bring it down in the offensive zone. Picked up by Kulak. Feeds it over to Yana. Yana knocked off the puck. Fargo trying to gather this one up. Puck cut up behind the net. Fargo and Yana trying to dig this one loose. Yana comes in, throws the body around a little bit. Battle for it in the corner. Looks like it comes loose to Mason Fargo. Sends one off the wall, trying to get it out to Benson. keeps it in, dumps it back down low. This one will ring around all the way to the far side to Nicholson. Nicholson sends it back down low, below the goal line, and Sartell will just dump it out in the neutral zone where it'll be picked up by Kulak. Kulak spins away from a check. He'll skate this one forward, gets it in, dumps it down low. Sent out to the point. Kulak trying to keep that one in, couldn't quite do it, but it comes loose to wide by. He'll turn it back in. Working on the defenseman. Lost the handle on that one, and Sartell will just dump it down. This one will go all the way down, but it doesn't look like it'll go for icing as Benson will be able to chase that one down. He goes behind his own net. Sends it to the far side over to Berg. Berg through the middle. Down in the zone, down the right side. Cuts it to the middle. Thought about shooting, held off, feeds it out to the point to Charlie. Charlie dumps one towards the net. That one hits wide by. Sartell able to chip this one out in the neutral zone. Nice job by Berg to get back and help out. Here's Minema, brings it forward. Tried to hand it off for Nicholson. Wyatt had to hold up at the line. Gives it back to Greener. Greener tried to dump that one in. Goes off a body and comes over to Wyatt. What a move there. Slipping the puck through the legs. Jumping over the skate. Berg hands it off to Wyatt. Wyatt shot. Goaltender makes the save. They send it up the wall. Comes loose to Charlie. Charlie sends a shot on. Tipped there by Wyatt. Went off the pipe. Behind the net. It's sent up to the point to Charlie again. Shot sent on. Another tip. Goaltender made the save on that one. Sartell just dumped this one down to relieve the pressure. That one will go for icing and we'll set up back down on the Sartell end for a face-off. So Aviators putting the pressure on there. Nicholson, Berg, and Wyatt by, and Charlie Minema absolutely destroying the Sartell team there for just a short bit. Fiala's line comes out. He'll take the face-off. Comes loose to Blasky. Blasky takes a look. Feeds one over to Henderson. Henderson, set up, shot, gets blocked, gets it back, lost the handle. Backhands one down low, but stolen away, and now Sartell behind the defense again. Shot sent on, saved by Dom. Nice job by Henderson and Daxon to get back. Got a stick on him a little bit, but didn't take the penalty. Here's Fiala down the right side. 3-on-1. Feeds it over to Blasky, just under his stick. Shower will pick it up, feeds it. Got it into the blue paint. But Fiala couldn't quite get a stick on it before the goal. He got his glove on it. We'll get a whistle and a face-off. So Aviators buzzing, putting the pressure on. Giving up a breakaway. Saved by Dom there. Good job by Henderson and Daxon to get back. Help their goalie out. Sartell wins this face-off. They'll skate this one out. They'll chip it down. Aviators will chase after it. It'll be Daxon to get on it first. Has a Sartell guy on him right away. Skates it forward, trying to feed it up to Shower. Takes down a couple players. Sartell will try to feed it off the wall. Comes loose up to Shower. Out to the blue line, but not up. Actually, they will say offsides here. And we'll get a whistle just in front of the Sartell bench. About 4 minutes to go here, second period. 3-2 lead for Sartell. Aviators leading in the shot department 18-16 at the moment. Sefty to take the face-off out there with Fargo and Yana. Comes loose to Kulak. Kulak chips it through the middle, trying to get up to Yana. Went a little bit behind him down in the Sartell end. They were able to work it out into the neutral zone. Benson sends it over to Kulak. Kulak up the wall, gets to Yana. Sartell sends it right back out, though. Benson pushes this one out in the neutral zone, but Sartell dumps it back down in, hits the the linesman. Chip down. Here's a guy behind the defense again. Saved there by Dom. Dom knew he wanted to go short side, was able to close off the 5-hole. Net came off as well. And we'll get a face-off down here in the Aviators' end. That same post we've been having problems with all game. 3 minutes, 29 seconds to go, second period. Sefty to take the face-off. Trying to freeze that mooring in once again. Still working to try to freeze that net in here. referees talking with the coaches right down here in front of us. I'm not sure what they're arguing about, what they're wondering about. Something about the net off. I don't know. They can't really argue that Dom's intentionally kicking it off, as their goaltender kicked it off 3 or 4 times in the first period. But either way, we'll play on. Face off in the Aviators' end. Seffi take the face off. Push forward here by Sartell. Picked up by Benson behind his own net. Hands this one off to Yana. Yana takes a hit along the boards. Benson will pick this one up. He'll skate it forward. Has some speed. Cuts it through the middle. Works it to his forehand. Down into the right-hand corner. Goes behind the net. Stuff attempt. Goes off the side of the net. Fed out front. Yana trying to poke that one in. Comes out to Mason Fargo at the point. He'll send a shot on, but that goes off the body right in front of him and out into the neutral zone. Benson trying to kick it forward. Comes back to Fargo. Fargo through the middle. Finds Seffi, but off of her stick. Big hit along the boards there. Seffi's able to send it down into the zone. She'll go for a change. Sent over to the far side. Tipped off. Comes right to Benson. Lost the handle on it, though. Otherwise, he could have skated that one in. Took a shot, and he's got an absolute cannon for a shot when he can get set up. Comes loose to Fargo. Fargo works it to the outside. Down into the corner. Feeds it to the middle. Comes all the way through to Kulak. Kulak sends it back down to Fargo. Fargo trying to set it out front. Off of Yana's skate there. Out to the blue line. Kept in by Kulak. Kulak shots in on tip. Goes up and over the net. Behind the net, Nicholson trying to dig it loose, but looks like it's caught up in the padding behind, and we get a whistle, and we're going to face off here down in the Sartell end with 2:15 to play in the second period. Still a 3-2 lead for Sartell, as they were able to get one on the power play earlier in this period. Nicholson will take the face off out there, centering Wyatt and Owen Berg. Sartell gets control. They send it to the far side, stolen away by Wyatt. He tries to work it out front, comes loose over to Berg. Berg feeds one out front. Goaltender tried to cover up as defenseman stole it away from him. Berg trying to poke it away too. Comes loose to Berg on the far side. Down in the corner. Feeds one through the middle, trying to find Nicholson, but he gets swallowed up by the defenseman. Sent out to the point. Knocked down by Charlie. Gets it up to Nicholson. They send it up the wall again, but tied up by a couple guys along the boards. Puck comes loose. Finally out into the neutral zone. Berg trying to come over to steal that puck away. Gets knocked down. Here's Wyatt with it. Spins it away. Feeds it back to his defenseman. Gets it to Easton. Easton up the wall. Gets to Berg. Back to Easton. Sartell just dumped this one down into the Aviators' end where it'll be picked up by Charlie. Goes behind his net. Takes a look. Gets up to Berg. Berg through the middle. Comes loose over to Easton Green on this near side. He'll skate it forward. Cuts it to the middle. Now in to the zone. Shots in on. Goes just wide. Chases after it. Gets tripped up. Goes into the boards. And Sartell dumped that one through the middle. It comes out to the neutral ice. Wyatt playing defense right now as both defensemen were caught up in the play. Dug loose here by Charlie. Goes behind his own net. Sends one back against the grain off of Nicholson, sticking on to the neutral zone. Picked up by Sartell in their own zone. They'll turn it right back out. Bringing this one down into the Aviators' end. Working on Charlie. Shots it on. Goes off of Dom's stick. Shot sent back on. Gets blocked there by Henderson. He has control of the puck. He'll skate it forward with some speed. Puts on a move down the far side. Works it to the middle. Gets on his forehand. Takes a shot. Goes wide. Blasky off the bench. Feeds it out to Shower. Back down to Blasky. Blasky trying to feed Fiala, who was wide open out front, but couldn't quite get it to him. Sartell gets control, but stolen away here by Fiala. Blasky in the slot, turns, shot off the pipe. Fiala near side, loses an edge, goes down in the corner. Blasky comes down, steals it away. Goes behind the net, trying to chase after this one. Out to the point, but that is the end of the period. Just as the Aviators are buzzing. And we will take a short little break, talk this one over. Get ready for the final 15. So shots tied up 18-18. Sartell leading by 1, 3-2 after 2. Aviators doing a good job of staying out of the box. Haven't taken too many penalties. Just one dumb one so far. The third period is where they struggle the most. I'm going to step away for 1 second. All right, sorry about that. I was just giving my 2 cents on how to get that net to stay in place. Usually there's that thick pad along the bottom of the inside of the post. If you get that, actually freezes to the ice a lot better. If you get that really wet on the bottom side of it, put it back in place. That a lot of times, a lot more surface area on that helps it stay in place. But they got some fresh new pegs with a little bit deeper of a spike, so hopefully that'll help out. Here we go, third period underway. Sartell wins it back. Go D-to-D in their own zone. They'll feed it up the near side. Dumped into the zone. Daxon will chase after it. It goes behind his net, chips it up the wall, gets up to Shower. Shower sends it up the near side wall, gets it to Fiala over to Blasky. Blasky dumps it in, rings it around to the far side. It'll be Fiala. Pushes this one forward. Stolen away here by Sartell. They'll skate this one forward. Back 3-on-2. Works over to the near side, shutting up a shot. Blocked away there by Dom. Kicks it into the corner. Daxon pushes up the wall, gets it to Shower. Gives it back to Daxon. Lost the handle on it. Sartell gets control in the slot. Good block there by, I believe, Fiala. Knocked that one away. Henderson in the corner. Put the check on. Stolen away here by Fiala. He'll skate this one forward. Bites off a check, gets it over to Shower. Shower trying to feed it over to Blasky. Gets it to Blasky, dumps it in, goes for a change. Fiala will stay out there. Henderson and Kulak, the defenseman, dump down in. Benson will turn back and grab this one. Kulak skates it forward, trying to get up to Fargo off a stick, gets it over to Yana. Yana feeds it up the boards, but stolen away by Sartell. Battle for it along the boards here. A little back and forth comes loose. Comes over to Seffi, who's waiting for it at center ice, and she'll dump that one in. She'll be the first one to get on it behind the net. Battles for it. Over Fargo along the wall, trying to dig this one loose. Gets it back down to Seffi. Seffi in the corner. Feeds it out front. Yano is trying to get there, but arrived a little bit late. Sartell gets control. They'll keep it away from the Aviators and feed this one out. Dumps it down in. Kulak chasing after it. Pushes that one into the corner. Sends it up the wall, gets it to Seffi. Seffi will turn it out, gets it to Fargo. Fargo up to Yana. Yana back to Seffi. Seffi trying to get through the defense, lost the handle on that one. Fargo will follow it up, though, and bring it into the zone. Sartell with control, though, along the boards. They'll chip it out and into the neutral zone here and dump it down in. Sent down into the corner. Picked up by Kulak. Kulak brings it around to the far side. Aviators were getting a change there, so players weren't quite arriving in time. Shots in on. Dom makes the save on that one. Kulak behind his own net, picks it up, sends it up the wall, gets it to Wyatt, but it went over his stick, and Sartell's able to keep that one in. Knocked down by Kulak. Sartell with control, though. Got a guy out front, saved by Dom, holds on, and we're going to face off. Aviators took a little exception there for the stick to the chest of Dom after the whistle, but cooler heads prevail, and we'll play on. 12:21 to go here, third period. 3-2 lead for Sartell. They're starting to opening a little gap here in the shot department as they lead 21-18. This one back, comes to Miedema, sends it up the wall, gets to Berg. Berg hands it off to Nicholson. Nicholson over to Wyatt. Wyatt will bring this one into the zone, works to the far side, dumps it down in. Nicholson goes behind the net to pick it up. Sartell gets there first. Here's Berg with it now. He'll send it off the wall, trying to get it out to Green. Sartell knocked it down low in their own zone. They have control behind the net. Wyatt trying to put a hit on. He'll get control, or was going to get control of the puck, but had the stick slashed out of his hand, and then he gave a little shove to the Sartell player, so that's probably why they didn't blow the whistle on that opportunity. Shots it on. Dom makes the save. Charlie trying to get rid of the puck. Net off again, but we'll play on. No face-off coming here in the Aviators' end. Looks like it'll be Fiala's line out there for the Aviators. You'll have Blasky and Shower with him. Daxon and Henderson at defense. Fiala to take the face-off. Sartell with control. They work it down the far side. Shots it on right into Dom's stomach. He'll hold on, and we're going to face off. Let's face off and move to the other side of the zone now. $11:29 to go, third period. Fiala to take the face off. One back by Sartell. They feed it back to the point. Shots it on through traffic. That gets tipped and goes wide. Picked up by Henderson. Henderson feeds it up to Shower off of his stick out to the point. Sartell will turn it right back down low. They'll feed this one back on their own out into the neutral zone and have to regroup. Sent over D to D, now up the near side. They'll bring this one down in the zone. Henderson steals this one away, trying to work this one out into the neutral zone. Sartell able to keep this one down low. Shots it on. Dom makes a save, holds on, and we're going to face off. Mason Fargo to take the face off here for the Aviators, but one back by Sartell. They'll dump it down low into the corner. Picked up by Fargo. He'll chip up the wall, trying to get up to Yana. Pinching defenseman comes down, throws a hit on Yana. Battle for it in the corner. Benson will pick this one up. Comes loose to Yana, but Sartell steals this one away. Yana trying to steal it back along the boards, just push down low. Big hit into the corner here. Kulak getting hooked up. Sent in behind the defense. Shot sent on. Beats Dom back of the net. All alone behind the defenseman. So, timeout called here by the Aviators. They're down 4-2 with 10:20 to play here, third period. Pretty bad call missed along the boards there as Kulak was getting held up. Aviators want to talk this one over, figure out what they need to do to get back into this game. With still 10 minutes to play, lots of time. Just mental lapses, long players behind the defense. Giving Sartell some golden opportunities. Third periods have been a tough one for the Aviators this year. Usually it's penalties, sometimes it's mental lapses like this, but let's see if the early timeout can spark something, get them going here in this third period. Nicholson to take the face-off out there between By and Berg. Picked up by Miedema. He'll bring this one, dump it down in. Here's Berg trying to get a spark here. Couldn't quite get a control of that puck. Nicholson tried to chip it out to Easton Green, but Sartell gets control, and they'll bring this one into the zone. They feed it through the middle. Stolen away here by Wyatt. Wyatt takes a look, sends it over to Berg. Berg corrals that one, brings it into the zone down the left side. Gets around the defenseman down to the corner. Gets swallowed up along the boards here, and Sartell will send it up the boards. They'll get control and out into the neutral zone. Dumped around. That one will come to the near side. Sartell will get on it first. They'll feed it out to the point. Big hit along the boards there. Nicholson trying to get this one out, but Sartell's able to keep it in. Easton Green will chase after it behind the net. He'll send it up the near side, gets it to Blasky. Blasky will skate it down the left side, dumps this one down in. Goaltender drops it off for his defenseman. Sartell will get control, and they'll send it up the wall now to the blue line, but it'll come out to center ice where Fiala will have control, and he'll dump it right back down in. About 9 minutes to play here. Brought in. Here's Shower, shots it on. Goaltender makes the save, holds on, and we'll get a face-off. A 4-2 lead here for Sartell. Aviators looking to get back on the board here. Mason Fiala to take the face-off. Sartell wins the face-off. They go beyond their own net. Takes a look. Tied up in the skates, a Shower. Bodied against the boards. Fiala trying to dig it loose. Shower pushes that one down low. Blasky will chase after it. Dug loose by Shower. He'll feed it out to Henderson. Henderson tried to one-time that, got swallowed up by a Sartell player. Mason Fiala dumped this one down below the goal line, picked up by Shower again. He feeds it out to the point, comes to Daxon. Daxon takes a shot, goes off a stick over into the near side corner. Down goes the Sartell player, picked up by Henderson. Shots it on. Goaltender got a glove on that one. Daxon trying to keep that one in, but it's going to lead to a 2-on-1 here. Henderson, the lone defenseman, back. Down the side. Shot sent on. Dom makes the save. Another shot sent on, but Daxon was able to block that one. Battle for it along the boards. Pushed forward here by Mason Fiala. 1-on-1, trying to get through the defense. Lost the hand on. Daxon follows up, tried to get a shot. Sent in on the goaltender there by Seffi. He'll cover that one up, and we'll get a face-off. Face-off coming to the far side of Sartell end. 7:46 to play here. 4-2 lead for Sartell. Game 2 of the Top Gun Challenge here in Grand Forks. Mason Fargo to take the face-off out there with Seffi and Caden Yana. Kulak and Benson on defense. Comes loose to Kulak. Kulak over to Benson. Benson turns, fires, goes off his stick, bouncing puck. Knocked down by Sartell, but stolen away by Benson at center ice here. But Sartell is able to steal it right back. Now Kulak with it. Dumps it through the middle. Sartell with control, though. They'll bring this one down and dump it down into the Aviators' end. Kulak behind his own net, picks this one up. Sends it back over to Benson. Benson sends it back to Kulak, far side, lost the handle on it. Battle for it, though, picked up by Mason Fargo. Fargo knocked off of his stick. Sartell with it, goes behind their own net. Seffi trying to put some pressure on. Sent through the middle. Kulak will knock that one down, sends it over the near side boards. Gets it to Benson. Benson back to Kulak. Off of his stick. Backhanded up the wall to Seffi. Dumped down in. Mason Fargo putting the pressure on, knocks that one away behind the net, but Sartell gets control again. They'll dump this one up to the blue line. Comes all the way through everybody and down into the Aviators' end where it'll be picked up by Benson. Benson spins away, has some space, skates this one forward down the right side, feeds over to Berg. Berg into the zone. Berg shots it on. Goaltender makes the save. Holds on, and we'll get a face-off here. With 6:32 to play here, third period. 2-goal lead for Sartell. Nicholson to take the face-off, centering Owen Berg and wide by. Easton Green, Charlie Miedema on defense. Face off one back, comes to Wyatt, feeds it over to Charlie. Charlie dumps it down into the corner. Nicholson will get after this one. Nicholson up the boards, gets it on the stick of Owen Berg. He'll backhand it down low again, gets it to Nicholson. Nicholson trying to feed it out to Wyatt. Nicholson and Wyatt behind the net. Sartell will send this one up the boards. Out to the point. Easton Green trying to keep it in. Big hit on Green there against the boards. But Charlie's able to get it up to Wyatt, but off of his skate, Sartell has control in the zone. They'll send one through the middle of the zone here. Gets it over to Owen Berg. Now up to Green. Green will skate this one forward. Sent out to the blue line, but not out. Picked up by Nicholson. He brings it down low in the corner. Backhanded off the side of the net. Out into the neutral zone. It comes out to Green. Green dumps it back down in off of a Sartell stick, so no ice. Sartell gets control of it behind their own net, and they'll send it up the near side boards. The Aviators get a change. Mason Fiala trying to steal that one away. Here's Blasky now. And Shower pokes it off a stick, but Sartell keeps it moving forward. Finally comes loose to Charlie. Charlie hands it off to Shower. Shower brings it in the zone down the far side. Gets shoved against the boards a couple times. Stick lift there, but Sartell still with control. As they go behind their own net, Shower trying to chase this one down. Sent through the middle, knocked down by Fiala. Fiala takes a shot, but goes off his stick. Blasky far side, picks it up in the corner, had it knocked off of his stick. Sent up the wall, gets the Shower to Henderson. Henderson shot through traffic, goes through to the far corner. Picked up by Fiala. As he's losing his balance, got over Shower. Shower shots it on. Blasky trying to get the rebound. Now Shower trying to feed it out to Fiala. Another shot's it on, but right into the glove of the Sartell goaltender, and he holds on. 4.5 minutes to play here. Third period, still 2-goal lead for Sartell. They lead 4-2. Mason Fiala take the face-off out there with Seffi and Yana. Henderson and Norby on defense. Seffi pushes that one towards the net, goes behind. Sartell gets on it right away. Sends it up the wall, now through the center ice. Jackson will pick it up, turn it back towards the Sartell, and he'll bring it down in the zone. Shots in on, goaltender gloves that one, holds on, and we'll get a face-off. Mason Fargo take the face-off again. Wins this one over to Seffi, but Sartell steals it away. They'll send it out to the point. Jan will stop that one. He'll dump it back down low. Mason Fargo, near side corner, picks it up. Trying to get around the Sartell pillar on the wall. Here's Henderson. Shot sent through traffic, goes off the pipe. Jackson sliding down, trying to keep that one in, but it'll come out. Sartell will bring this one down into the Aviators' end. They feed over the near side. Shots it on, whistles by the far post. Seffi trying to chip this one up the wall. Henderson battling along the boards, trying to get this one loose. Hands it off to Seffi. Seffi loops back, sends it through the middle, trying to find Yana. Comes out to the point, shots it on, blocked there by Daxon. Picked up by Seffi in the high slot. She loops back down below the goal line. Now cuts in front of her own net, hands it over to Yana. Yana up the boards, trying to get to Fargo, but knocked back down low by Sartell. Yana backhands one over to Henderson, far side. Tries to feed it up. Looks like that one will go down the ice. Won't make it for icing, though, as Sartell will chase this one down. They'll feed it up the far wall to a player waiting as the Aviators were going for a change, but they'll just dump this one in. Benson will pick it up the near side corner. Feeds one through the middle, gets it up to Wyatt. Wyatt feeds it up to Kulak. Kulak into the zone. Makes a nice move. Lost the handle on it, gets it back, though. Feeds it back to Benson. Benson shot through traffic, goes off somebody out front into the corner. Sartell will try to dump this one out, but knocked out of the air there by Benson, kept in. Berg will dump it down low. Dom out of the net, so 6-on-5 here. Extra man advantage with 2.5 minutes to play. Picked up by Berg. Berg feeds it over to Henderson. Henderson, shot sent on, goes off the goalie's glove and up and over the net. Sartell with it along the boards. They'll chip this one out to the point, but kept in. Thought it was kept in by Benson as he jumped up and grabbed that one, but they say offsides. And we'll get a face-off here just outside the Sartell end. They'll stay 6-on-5. Important face-off here for the Aviators. Got to win this one. Mason Fiala to take the face-off. Henderson headed off. Mason Fargo coming out. One back by Sartell. They'll dump this one down, but stopped by Kulak. Kulak will work it forward. Feeds it up to Shower. Shower will loop it back. Gives it back to Benson. Benson over to Blasky. Blasky through the middle. Gets it to Mason Fargo. Lost the handle on it. There's another attempt. Sent down. Goes off. Benson, or one of the defensemen, ends up going in the back of the net. It's a 5-2 lead here for Sartell with just over 2 minutes to play. Face off, one back by the Aviators. Picked up by Benson. Finds some space. He'll skate this forward. Head of steam. Comes in fast. Brings it down the right side. Works it down low. Feeds it up front. Trying to get it to Blasky. Sartell trying to backhand this one out. Out into center ice here. Picked up by Benson. He backhands one over to Charlie. Charlie will skate it forward. Hands it off to Fiala. Fiala dumps it in. He gets dumped. Fiala Miedema will chase after it down low. Now Shower over on the far side. He chips and goes around the defenseman. Now back to Shower. Over to Fiala. Fiala walks it in. Shot sent on. Goaltender makes the save. Goes off his shoulder into the far corner. Push down low. Shot sent on. Gets blocked. Fiala trying to put the hit on here. Here's Shower at the point. Slips a check along the boards. Gets it over to Fiala. Backhand it over to Miedema. Miedema shots it on right into the belly of the goaltender. And we'll get a face-off here in the Sartell end with 1 minute and 8 seconds to play. Oh, Aviators really moving the puck around here now after going down 3 goals. Seeing their best puck movement of the day here. 5-on-5 hockey. Seffi comes over to the near side. That one's sent down. Went off of Henderson's glove, but either way, they still end up calling it off, or icing. Pretty sure it went off of Henderson's glove, but either way, we'll get a face-off back down in the Sartell end. 56.8 seconds to go here. Third period, 3-goal lead for Sartell. We'll get a face-off in their end with Yana taking a face-off. Tied up at the dot. Sartell digs it loose, tries to feed it out. Picked up by Henderson. High slot, brought in, shot sent on, goes off a skate, never made it to the goaltender. Picked up by Henderson in the corner. He'll work it out front, backhand sent on, just goes by the far post. Henderson getting after it again. He's buzzing around out there right now. He wants one. Here's Daxon in his own zone. He'll chip this one up the wall, comes out to the blue line. Was out, but referee was not in position, so. Either way, it's back down in the Sartell end with about 25 seconds to play as they dump this one out to center ice. Henderson battling here, trying to bring this one back in. Makes a nice little move. Gets around the defense. Shot sent on, goes off the pipe. Comes out front, bouncing puck. Mason Fargo knocked that one down and almost snuck it in, but goaltender was able to get a glove on that one. And we're going to face off here in the Sartell end with 13.9 seconds to go. Mason Fargo take the face off. Dumped down by Sartell. They get it out of the zone, but stolen away by Daxon. He'll bring it back in. Shot sent on. About 5 seconds to play here. Giannis sends one down low. Now Mason Fargo works it out front. But that is the end of this one. A 5-2 win for Sartell in Game 2 of the Top Gun Challenge. Another tough loss for the Aviators. They will be taking on Winnipeg this afternoon at 4:45, a game that will probably prove to be pretty rough as Winnipeg put an absolute beat down on this Sartell team. So unless the Aviators can find another gear, that could be a tough one. But either way, got to come to play, got to come hard. We'll see Blake playing in that one this afternoon. And, yeah, that is about it for today. As always, we appreciate you joining us, and we will see you guys next time.